Hey everyone. Hey
Hey,
Rick. Mate,
Jay,
we
hold on,
walked
mate.
out of this movie. Not walked out of it. We saw the whole
No,
thing.
we saw it. Yeah,
But we have this is one of these shows where we've literally walked out, come home, both gone our respective places, and bam, here we are
ready to
going
go.
live. I mean, you can't get a fresher reaction than this, I would say, Rick, on this movie.
No, this is
So-
way. Yeah.
Oh, although we must say this movie come out 700 years ago everywhere else, and we're only getting
That's
it
right.
now.
Here
So
in
this was an
Australia, it came out late.
October release, I think, in America. Yeah, it was an October
Yeah,
release. So, but
October
we
release.
finally got to see it, Rick. Finally got to see it. Before we get into this one, I would say for me personally, I didn't love the first Venom movie, but I liked it. I liked what Tom Hardy was trying to do.
Yeah.
Thought the villain was a bit the story was a bit but I kind of liked what he did. So, I was going into and how about you, Rick? You said you only recently just watched it.
I hadn't seen Venom like the first ones for a while, and when we first saw it at cinemas, I was like, yeah, it was okay. So I thought, we're going to see this today. I'll watch Venom again last night, and I still had the same opinion. And then, going into this, I had
It's surely not a film you hated, though, was it?
No, I didn't hate Venom. No. I thought it was okay. I had issues with it, but
yeah. So we've come out of seeing this one, which is a sequel that I think had some delays because of obviously the pandemic and that. But finally got released, directed by Andy Serkis, the guy who played Gollum. Directed this movie,
so he hasn't done much. He hasn't done much in the way of directing.
No. This is certainly his biggest. I think he'd done one other film before he got this, and then obviously Tom Hardy's back, Michelle Williams is back. Everyone who was in
your favorite.
Yeah. We'll get into that in a minute. So, but yeah, everyone was kind of back for this one. But yeah, we. I'm stuck for words, Rick. Let's just put it out there. Rick.
Let's get into
what did you think of this movie?
To put it summary, this movie is garbage. It is really garbage.
Or
this movie.
Is it more like a piece of
shit? It is a piece of shit. Yes, it is. Correct. This movie is a piece of shit. And I hate to say it, but it is. I had so many issues with this movie, and I think myself and you, Jace, are on the same page with this one. I avoided this whole thing when we're coming out because it was delayed for us here in Australia. I wanted to keep away, open-minded, going into the cinema, and I was just
which was 2 months. Which was 2 months from
2 months
when they saw it to when we saw it. I think close to 2 months. Anyway.
Yeah.
I agree, Rick. I also rate this movie as a piece of shit.
Piece of shit.
And it actually deserves that mantle for a lot of reasons. And number one being that it was a boring story. It was boring. There was nothing in this plot. And again, it's spoiler review. No plot. If you can't read that. We're just going to go for it. But it's literally about an insane guy who, grew up and had his crush, the love of his life. They were in a mental home. The serial killer avoids her, and that's the movie. And then he escapes, and then he fights Venom. That's a very, very, very basic summary. But that film feels like that very much. Let's get into the big, massive problem in it. It felt all over the place. Like,
the writing was terrible.
This was a 2-hour movie that they cut half an hour out of because there are scenes that are just so edited, so choppy. It just goes from one thing and the other, and nothing feels cohesive, and nothing has a flow through it.
There was no flow for this movie.
You mentioned to me about the CGI as we were walking out.
The CGI was terrible.
It was beyond fucked. It was
no way of putting it. It was
late 90s CGI quality in my mind.
Yeah. And
it felt very PlayStation 2 graphics.
Why? At this time, where the amount of movies are coming out, why is CG so shit?
I don't know. I mean, this film, you got to remember, the first movie made $800 million globally. Like, that's the reason we have a sequel. So you would have thought a bit more care would have gone into your effects and things like that. You know what else is bad is the staging of all the CGI too, the fights, and that could be a way to try to cover up how poor the CGI was.
Maybe,
but everything had the motion blur, normal kind of motion blur, and the cameras were so tight on the characters that it looked like watching a fight out of the Bourne Identity. You didn't really get to see the action play out in my book very well.
Yeah.
The villain was horrible. Woody Harrelson.
He was fucking terrible in this.
So miscast.
He
So
got
miscast.
me. I just didn't like him. And he
They
had
they hired him because they're thinking, great, we've got the guy from
Natural Born Killers.
Natural Born Killers. We'll have him.
No, 20 years ago,
whatever
it was.
35 years
That's right.
older version of him. This movie is very camp. I would say it's on the level of campiness. Maybe not so outright, but it's up there in campiness with Batman and Robin for me. It's ridiculous. At least Batman and Robin knew what they were making. It was very tongue-in-cheek. They knew that they were making a 60s Batman show, but this film just doesn't work in any way. And it's pretty quickly on in the movie, isn't it, Rick? You find out how it just doesn't flow. It's just
no one in this cast actually gels with each other. Like, we know we spoke about Michelle Williams. I know she was terrible in this. I know.
Look, I've seen her in some performances and she's good, but she's woeful in these movies.
Both Venom. She was just terrible. Naomi Harris, I just couldn't. She's just a female
penny lady.
Yeah, she's just a female version of Banshee. That's it. That was her power. You know what I mean? It was just so lame, and it just it didn't gel with me. And the whole banter between Venom and Tom Hardy was just, it got to me. It got very annoying. That whole comedy type scenario.
Yeah, it was too much. And
it's too much. It's too much.
And the problem is it's like Tom Hardy plays this nervous type of, almost got, high level of anxiety and things like that. And that's his way of kind of going, and then you've got the confidence of Venom, but it just never kind of works well.
It didn't.
And then,
it didn't.
Like there's these little gags throughout the movie about him kind of talking to himself and exploding and that. And he's always trying to come up with the awkward excuse. And I'm like, why don't you just say you got Tourette's? And no one would bother you. That's what he was acting like.
No one questioned it.
The point is, the villains, it was horrible. I didn't care about the love story between Shriek and Carnage.
Why is he
still... much like nothing gelled for me. The cop. Now here's a problem I have with it. So Naomi Harris is Shriek, right? So she wants to take revenge on the people who kind of got her. Why is she focusing in on a cop who accidentally? You having mic troubles there, mate?
Yeah, sorry, my stand just broke.
You're literally just broke as we were talking. And it's live too, so this is awesome.
It's live. So anyway, I'm just gonna hold.
You're gonna be holding it like this.
My stand just come off. Anyway, let's continue.
Anyway, look, like we'll keep going because it's not gonna be a long show anyway, Rick.
Yeah, it is.
The problem is she goes and targets this cop that accidentally shot her at the beginning, and she sits on this for vengeance for over 20 years.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Why? I mean,
why?
Wouldn't your anger be out on the chick that was tormenting you for the last 20 years, standing outside that, the person that ran Ravencroft Institute or was looking after Shriek at that point? There's so much in this film. It's not like it doesn't make sense plot-wise. But overall, it just doesn't make sense why you would make this movie. You bring nothing to the character. If usually the main character of a movie has to have an arc, a story where he grows. None. There was none. The only thing that happened in this movie really was that Venom and Eddie learned to love each other. But wasn't that established in the end of the last film?
It was. They established all the rules.
You end this film where they're both sitting on a beach. Venom and Eddie, kind of the symbiote coming out of him, sitting on a beach looking into the sunset. That's how, this is the kind of creativity they put into this piece of garbage. And it doesn't get any better. The only saving grace in this film was about 5 seconds of footage in the after credit scenes.
That's
which,
it.
Again,
that was the best
review, so I'm not keep saying it. But we get a scene where he's in the resort, wherever he is, come off the beach.
Hotel room or whatever it is.
A hotel room. And he's seeing news footage. Well, something changes. Everything changes quickly. Yeah.
So it's a dingy room. It's all
it all changed. Anyway, he looks at TV. He sees Peter Parker. We get to see Tom Holland standing there, and Venom licks the screen. This guy, but there's no establishment why he would have a problem with Peter Parker in any way, or Spider-Man. And it was a desperate attempt to say, "Hey, look, guys, this is part of the MCU." Well, excuse me. I don't care about that. I just want to see a decent movie. And again, Sony failed to deliver. Let's face it, they would have stuffed up these other Spider-Mans if it wasn't for Kevin Feige steering them and basically controlling them. And you know, I don't know what to say anymore, Rick, about what is a disappointing second film for what it was a middling first film. They really took a dive with the sequel. I mean, really took a dive. I can't see how we get any more Venom films.
I can't see if they are going to go for a third one. I mean, the way that they were pointing towards what they were going to do, you know, do they follow that? I mean, because they were going on about the Lethal Protector and how they were going to go with that way, and that's a series of comics.
Can you quickly just give a quick explanation of the Lethal Protector?
So people who don't know that, there's a series of comics that were in the 90s, which was the Lethal Protector, which was done and through that series, and you'll notice that Venom didn't have his white.
Oops, sorry about that.
Like a spider type emblem on his shirt. On him, and that's leading into that. But I just. You know, for me, I just wanted to see a good movie. I just wanted to see a good movie.
This wasn't it.
I wanted to be, this movie has to be, and we've spoken about this before, Jace, R-rated. It has to be R-rated. Like you said, they Disney it up.
Yeah, they've Disneyfied the character. They have.
Correct.
And in the scenes where Venom does act of violence, they cut away at the moment of the actual violence. So what you'll see his mouth open up. He'll go to there. They'll do a hard cut to a wide shot of the aftermath of it. So they add a sound effect in there. And with editing, it looks like he did something, but you never get to see any violence.
No.
For example, what we should have been seeing in these Venom films is him tearing people apart like King Shark did in the Suicide Squad.
See, that's right.
And where they just went for it, you know, and that worked so well, in my opinion.
It's holding back.
Yeah. Look, if you are out there hoping that Venom is in the MCU and that after credit scene was a desperate attempt by Sony to say, look, it's all connected, don't bother. Don't bother. They've missed Tom Hardy.
You don't reckon it'll be in it?
Shot? Nah.
You don't reckon? They reckon they just put it in there? Yeah.
Nah, not at this point. Not at this point.
Yeah.
Look, this is another show, but we can talk about what I believe is now the start of the decline of Marvel. But we'll tease that for another, because I could go on for that for about 3 or 4 hours.
Did you see the little homage to Stan Lee that I had?
No, I did not. Where was that?
No,
where was that?
That scene when they come in with Mrs. Chang at the beginning, and they're talking about how we wanted to get the chocolate and whatever.
Yeah.
Right, there's a shot when they're talking, and just on the corner near the stand, there was like a little magazine with Stan Lee's
that's
face on and stuff like that. A little cameo there because we missed Stan, but
doesn't make up for what is
a terrible fucking movie.
Like, I didn't like the Eternals, Rick, and I think we did a review on the Eternals, we did, and I wasn't a massive fan of that. And to be honest with you guys out there too, I'm really struggling with Hawkeye at the moment. The first 2 episodes, I didn't enjoy either. And this makes Hawkeye look like Oscar-worthy material, and it certainly raises. I mean, the Eternals is so much better than Venom. Let Them Be Carnage, and I didn't like Eternals. Look, maybe I'm just not liking comic book films at the moment, Rick. Maybe it's all on me, but I just didn't enjoy myself. It felt very much like they cut it to shreds. It was like a streaming show in a way. Kind of gave that vibe a bit. It's the wrong rating, as we discussed. CGI was horrible, and the performances were dreadful.
Yeah.
Dreadful.
Yeah.
But you know what? Let's have a look and see what, because I'd like to see what the most of the people out there are thinking.
Yeah.
Just to see if I'm in sync with them. So let's have a look at Rotten Tomatoes. Okay, there's the tomato meter. So 59% of critics are gone.
We're seeing this a lot.
Yeah, but the audience is giving it 84%.
This is and this happened last time with this movie.
Yeah.
You know,
Where the audience
liked
gave it
loved
all
it.
the love. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Maybe I'm with the critics with it. I don't get it. So
it was bad.
Yeah,
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah. I know we haven't agreed recently in some films, but this one, we both walked out. Funny, it's funny though, Rick, sitting next to you about 40 minutes in, right, we're watching this movie, and I just hear this kind of exhale of,
I was like this almost, when's this going to end?
This almost sense of defeat spewing out of your mouth in this noise, because you knew then, oh, there's nothing saving this.
Well, we said that as soon as the lights came on, we both looked at each other and you said, "Dude, are we on the same page?"
Yeah.
And we were.
I was concerned. No, I wasn't. I knew. Like I said, I knew when when it lost you. It lost me probably around the same time, because I was going, okay, it's a little bit clunky in the beginning. We got this detective now, and you go through this whole thing with Eddie Brock and Venom not getting along, and so you have these cute scenes in the apartment,
too much,
all that kind of thing, and they're really trying to force feed the comedy there, weren't they?
When he separates from Eddie and he goes on his little fucking
little adventure, which I didn't mind. But there's just so much more that they could have been doing with this franchise. It's it's sad. It is sad in many, many ways about how they're doing, because really Venom he's had different versions of Venom along the way, obviously in the comic books and that. But I think what it is that we all have this memory of Venom from the 90s, when I first started seeing the comic books and stuff come out. And this incredible artwork that was done by artists like Todd McFarlane and that. And it's the same as Spawn. Those two characters just look amazing on screen. The problem is it doesn't automatically mean it's going to work as a film. And I think Venom as a character has gone through those struggles. With Spider-Man 3, the mishandling of that, to Venom, which again, Tom Hardy's doing best as he could, but they just can't get the story elements right for Venom. They just can't. So I don't know about you, Rick. I just don't see how a third one gets made at this point. If this movie makes half of what the first film has made, I'll be shocked. And while you're doing that, I'm now just going to quickly Google to see the box office for Venom, and we'll just see how much money this is made, because this will determine whether we get another film or they're going to let it go. So just carry on for me, Rick, while I'm just... Anything else you can think of specifically you didn't like?
Mate, Jesus, where do I start? I couldn't get over the look with I know we went on with Woody Harrelson, but I'm sick and tired of seeing Woody Harrelson play these villains in these movies all the time. And then they're just like, and he just looked terrible, and I think he had a freaking toupee, which annoyed me. He looked terrible. He didn't gel with anyone.
He did look off, didn't he?
He just looked, I don't know how old Woody Harrelson is now, but they were trying to in line with that character, the age difference.
He was hamming it up way too much.
Nothing. It
really was hamming it up. He's just a misfire. Let's have a look at Box Office Mojo now. This is probably the most trusted place to go for box office information. So let's have a look and see how much Carnage is made right now. Well, oh my God, I never would have thought this. Worldwide, it's currently at $456 million. So, believe it or not, that's probably not enough to greenlight a sequel, because the film would have cost them $150. You've got your marketing, which would probably have been around $250 million. So maybe you get something else. But what story? I mean, they tease at the end of this film that he's going to go after Peter Parker with no real reason. If somebody knows why all of a sudden he sees a picture of Peter Parker,
it says that guy
and licks the screen, like if that's supposed to imply something, I didn't get it. I didn't understand it. So no, it's no, Rick. It's I hate to be saying this, but I've said this. This is the worst year for Marvel for a long time.
Yeah.
And I know I don't want to confuse Marvel Studios because I do know this is in
This is
association with
Sony.
Marvel
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
but it's still Marvel properties, and they really are mishandling them. You know, I think the Eternals was a letdown. Shang-Chi was a good
Shang-Chi
movie.
was
Not a
awesome.
great movie, but it was good movie. I do enjoy it. Black Widow was a letdown as well. Love the TV shows. Not a fan of Hawkeye at the moment. So it's just, I don't know, Rick. I don't know.
Well, you got the big one.
Moment
We got the big one coming at the end of the year.
Well, on December 16th, that weekend, we'll be seeing Spider-Man No Way From Home. And there's going to be
there's going to be.
Yeah. I go into that bit trepidatious now. I really do. Because I feel like I've been burnt so recently from Marvel as a, well,
you
even
just want it to
from
be
the MCU. I'm walking in there, a bit kind of all right. What are they going to service up? But if anything could bring it back, it will be Spider-Man No Way From Home.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
no,
anyway, that's it, Rick. I don't have any more to add. I would just say, again, this film, if I was to really give it an intellectual rating, it's still a piece of shit. So,
yeah, it's still a piece of shit.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what we thought.
I don't know.
Don't waste your time, guys. Wait for it to come out in streaming.
If you have young kids, I don't know.
Maybe. Hey, dude, remember, 2 seats down, there were 2 kids sitting there that wouldn't have been any older than 12. And then when the lights came up, they were still in their seats, and they didn't look happy either.
Right.
So I reckon even between 10 and 15, it'll be
but
half and half whether they like it.
If you wanted, maybe the young ones might like it.
If you're going to take kids to see that type of movie, are you better off? Like, I'll be honest with you, maybe that's just my conservatism as a parent, but I'd rather take them to Eternals because there's better messaging in Eternals than there is in Venom. It's just a silly film, Venom. It's not, I don't know. People think it's metal because he's got big sharp teeth and he's black. It's all bullshit. It didn't even look that good at some point. So, I don't know. I don't think it's for anyone.
Well,
I think this film is lost.
It wasn't for us.
Just lost.
It was just, Well, we can harp on how bad this movie was. We know it's a piece of shit.
Well, that's their job is to review it, and I'm fucking telling you,
it's a piece of
garbage.
Shit. It is garbage.
Right. I suppose I'm getting a little bit annoyed now. The more I talk about it, Rick, to be honest with you, I'm starting to feel a bit pissed off even more because
I don't understand.
This is very dumb what they've done. The audience is smarter than that these days, and I don't think Sony gives the audience enough credit. Really don't.
Oh, but how bad was the product placing? Just talk about Sony. That whole scene when he's trashing his fucking Venom is trashing the house, right? Oh, that's a $3,000 TV. Like it's a Sony TV.
Everything's Sony.
And they got a box. I get it, but fuck.
And the phones were Sony.
Yeah, everything was Sony. Like the product placement was just thrown at you.
I mean, that's kind of normal, or it's just best. But what it does say to me, Rick, behind that is you were so uninterested with what the characters were doing.
Yeah, that's right.
You were able to pick up on all that placement. Because most films have product placement, but a good film, you won't even think about it.
No, that's
right.
Caught
up in the story. That's what's missing from Venom Let There Be Carnage, a story.
There was no story. There was nothing. I don't get that scene with, what's his name? Stephen Graham, who played the detective, right?
Yeah.
And then at the end, his eyes.
In a lot of those British films from Guy Ritchie.
Yeah.
Snatch, all that kind of thing.
He was there. But then he just had that scene with Naomi, falls down, gets stabbed, whatever, something goes through him.
Yeah, he's got change around him.
And then his eyes start to change.
Blue, and he says
monsters. But there was
just
nothing.
Extra layer of excrement on top of what it is.
You know what I mean? Like nothing. Like there was nothing to say why that had happened or how that would have happened or something. Fuck.
Guys, if you haven't gotten the hint already, we did not like it. And normally, I'm the kind of guy that says, go see the film because film is subjective. That's what I always say, Rick. When one person hates, another person will like. But I'll question you pretty hard if
Guys,
you like this
put
film.
it in the comments. If you like this movie, put it in the comments because I want to
Tell us
Jason
why
what
you did, though, because
tell us. Yeah.
maybe there's something I'm missing here. Maybe there's just something I'm missing. And
Don't
if you're
go on
talking
that.
about the emotion of the like, look, no, I'm not carrying any baggage from anything. And I'm, you know, maybe I didn't read because I didn't read Venom comics by then. You know what I mean? I wasn't into the comics of Venom. No, I love the look of the character, just didn't read the series. So I don't have any of that, any kind of backstory, and I shouldn't. As a person who's just walking in to see a film called Venom,
Majority
it
of these
should
days, no
all
one's going to know.
be there for me, and I should understand, I should be
Correct.
invested. You know what it is, too, I think, with this film, Rick? They don't know what to do with Venom. The studio doesn't know what to do with the character. That's why we've got such a bad film. How did they greenlight this script? Like, where was the excitement going to be? You know,
Poorly written.
Why did they think? It feels very much like a first draft, like first or second draft. Here's what we're thinking, and they haven't gone back over it and rewrote what clearly needs to be rewritten. But I'd be shocked if there wasn't a pile on the cutting room floor with this one, because I reckon there's a lot of shit's been cut out. Because remember we said it's choppy. You go from one bit, you go from the next bit, and nothing feels cohesively put together. And that's because I reckon they last minute pulled out everything. I bet you the test audiences fucking hated
it.
I bet you that's what happened. Anyway, that's our Venom Let There Be Carnage wrap.
Spoiler review. There it is.
Review. We better go because Rick's probably got a really dead right arm.
I can't believe of all the time we haven't done a live show for a while. And we got these new mics and the stands and all that. We hadn't done it for a while. So Jay said, let's do a live show. Awesome. What happens to mine? It falls off the table. Ah, well. Of course. Yeah. These things
even the mic didn't want you talking about how bad this film was.
No.
Okay.
Shut me down.
Rick,
but anyway.
Let's tell the guys what they got to do, how they get a hold of us. You did something really cool this week too. So what you talk about
did.
Well.
So guys, if you obviously we're promoting all our channels and everything like that as well. I actually put up a QR code. So if you guys want to scan that will go directly to all our sites, and you can go onto our Facebook, YouTube, do all that, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave us comments, share our pages. We want to hear from you guys because we really, really appreciate everyone's support, guys. So
fantastic. Can you believe we waited 2 months for that?
Anyway,
that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you soon. I know, look, just before we go quickly to, I know people may have been expecting a Hawkeye show this week, but I really hated the first 2 episodes. I'm to blame. I rang Rick and said, look, Rick, I'm really having problems with this. I don't want to get on there and just hate on it. So what we're going to do is watch the whole series. It's only 6 parts, and then we'll do a full review on Hawkeye coming up in a few weeks. But Rick, I think the next one review we'll be doing is probably on Dune or Spider-Man, but we'll catch all of you guys soon.
We'll do. See you
Have
guys.
a great weekend, everybody, and we'll catch you guys soon.
See you soon.
See ya. Bye.